All right, now we've got the sticker on. Let's have a quick look at all the stuff I've been ordering for the boat build. So I do have a bit of a pile of things, and you can see here stuff's still wrapped up. I've actually forgotten what some of this stuff is. So let's unwrap it and let's see everything that I've bought that needs to go into the boat build. Might as well start right here. So what we've got here is 39 meters of alloy angle. There's a big 3-meter piece there. It's a bit wider. You see it sitting on top. That one there is just going to be made into a shelf. The last stuff that I don't have is marine ply and the carpet. But let's get into unwrapping and see what the hell we've got. So first up is the new straps. So the last one had real thin straps, needs some nice bulky straps just to hold this down so it's not gonna bounce around on the trailer. We'll get into a couple of these small bags, see what we've got. I've actually forgotten what half of this is. What do we got here? These look like the trailer registration plate lights, so I still need to put that on the trailer. So I did get 2, just in case I need 2 side by side, but they'll be wired in. All right, that's one. What do we got in here? Yes. So more lights, but these are for the inside of the boat. So these are the blue LEDs, and my plan is to wire them all up onto the one circuit. So just one switch will turn them all on and off. And they're gonna be in sort of cavity spots. So pointing downwards towards the floor, none of them pointing up or sideways. It's all gonna be pointing down. So, inside rod lockers, where you put in your tackle, all that sort of stuff. Just to illuminate the floor if we're fishing in the dark. What is this? Well, that one's already half open. What's going on in there? I know what these are. Cup holders. Get one out. So I ordered just some cup holders, more or less cans, so it's big enough to sit a can in, so they're not going to be rolling around the boat when we get into the choppy water. 4 of these. I don't know if the whole 4 is going to go in, but stainless steel cup holders. One of these, fire extinguisher. So what you need for your boat is a powder fire extinguisher for putting out fuel fires. This one come from Bunnings, 20 bucks. Look at that. Fire extinguisher and a holder, 20 bucks, can't complain, straight from Bunnings. These ones are an easy one. Rod holders. So for the rod locker, I've decided I'm gonna go with a rod locker on the side wall of the boat. So these, you can use them in your shed, you can use them anywhere, but plan is, mount them on the side of the wall, and then we can store some rods in them. Nice and easy. Next up to the party, no idea. What we got? Hose kit. Hose kit for your bilge pump. And I do have a bilge pump here somewhere as well. Let me grab it. Ta-da! So I've grabbed another bilge pump. So I will have 2 in the boat. They'll be running off different circuits as well. The original owners, they had a bilge pump in the back of the boat, which I found was pretty much useless because when I got a crack in the boat, all the water was up the front and it wasn't going down to the back. Just because of the way the boat sits in the water, it's a little bit lower when you sit in at idle. So when you're up on plane, doesn't matter, but when you're just sitting floating, water sits in the front. So I'm gonna run a bilge pump in the front of the boat and also a bilge pump, a second one in the back of the boat. All right, so some heavier stuff. So what I've got is I've grabbed 2 lithium batteries. So these are King's 60 amp hour lithium batteries. Now I need 2 of them because I'm running a 24 volt electric trolley motor. All right, so 24 volt electric trolley motor, I need 24 volts of power. So we've got 60 amp hours in each, but they're both 12 volts. I've got a 24 volt electric trolling motor. To get 24 volts, basically we hook these 2 batteries up in what's called series. So when you hook it up in series, you double the voltage, but your ampage stays the same. So I'm only gonna have 60 amp hours and 24 volts of power. Now, some might think, okay, well, you don't have much amp hours there. Well, we do have lithium batteries, so their charge rate is really good. They will pump out the high 24 volts all the way down to under 10% battery life compared to your AMGs, which will start to drop off at around 70% of their battery life. These will give stable power for the entire capacity. And the other benefit is because I'm running a 24 volt system and I'm ideally only going to be using that at slow speeds, a 24 volt electric trolley motor uses about half the amount of amps that a 12 volt trolley motor does. So my trolley motor, when I'm just cruising around in the logs, just using the spot lock, stuff like that, I'm gonna be using far less ampages than people that are using a 12 volt trolley motor. So keep that in mind. So yes, 60 amp hours might not sound like much, but we're gonna give it a bell. The biggest benefit of these is the weight savings. So I was really aiming for weight savings in the boat. These are 7 kilos each. So that's great compared to the 27 kilos each of the AMG 100 amp hour batteries I was running previously. I've got 14 kilos of battery instead of 54 kilos of battery sitting in the front of the boat. And I know what this is, a battery monitor, okay? I've got lithium batteries. How do you monitor them? Well, you can't really monitor them by the voltage like you do with an AGM battery, like I was saying before. When an AGM battery is losing power, it also loses voltages from the very start, from the moment you start using it. So the power output, the voltage output, is just dropping down. So you can't monitor lithium batteries the same way as you do an AGM. So I've got one of these. This is a lithium battery monitor. What you do is you plug it in. I'll pull it out, give you a quick rundown of what you do. Basically, you have your monitor display. It's got some plugs on the back. You've got a couple cables that plug into this and then into this. So with this, all you do is the negative coming back from your trolling motor, you put onto here, and then from here, you go to the one negative of the first battery you got in series. And that just monitors how much ampages are passing through. And on this, the way it tells how much power you got left is you have to set it. So you have to say, I've got 60 amp hours of battery power total, or whatever, you got 100 amp hours, 200 amp hours, doesn't matter. You just set it in here and hit go. I think I know what this one is. All new rod holders. So these are just the standard run-of-the-mill rod holders. They've got a brace here that will attach to the side bars. I've got 4 of them. We'll be able to have 2 rods at the front, 2 rods at the back that can sit in these rod holders. Pretty straightforward. You have your mount, you stick them in, you're good to go, and you've got a twist on the end that locks them in. Ooly dooly, what do we got here? I remember now, I was thinking, what's big that fits this in here? So what do we got here? It's a slimline fuel tank. It's an 11 litre. It's got a fuel gauge. You know, you connect to your standard fuel outlet there. You've got your breather and your filler. The really good thing about this is it's slim and it doesn't weigh a lot. So what I have found is when I go out, I'm generally only going out for 1 or 2 days, nothing crazy. And I've got a 24 litre fuel tank. I will go out without even using the electric trolley motor. I'll trawl all day long with that 4 horsepower Honda, and I'll use not even a quarter of fuel tank. So I'm carrying around a lot of fuel. Yes, I could just fill it up less, but why not just have a smaller fuel tank? Takes up less room in your boat. And then if you're ever gonna go on a huge big trip, you can just take the other one with you. Oh, she's still full of fuel since the last time I used it. So that's what I'm replacing. And it's full of fuel. Like I was telling you, I've actually used this for 3 trips. 2 of those trips, I did have the electric trolley motor, and it's still got 3/4 a tank. So it's got a lot of fuel in there. I'm trying to reduce the amount of weight that I'm carrying around. All right, so what we got here is some boat seats. You can see it. These actually are the ones you get off eBay. They're not the cheap ones, but they are pretty cheap. Now I was looking at a lot of boat seats, and I was looking at ones from, you know, fishing shops, things like that. And these, to be honest, they looked like they had the same level of comfort, the same sort of quality as some of the seats that are about $100, $150 more. These ones were about $150 per seat. There should be 2 in here. I'll be gutted if there ain't. I guess I want to be careful when I'm opening this up in case I chop right across the top of the seats, because that wouldn't be a good start. Okay, so the first thing I can see in here is your swivel plates for your seats to go on. They're nice and sturdy. They're not wobbly, they're not crap. These are actually quite good looking in quality. I have seen some brand new ones of these that just are free spinning real easy, and it just means that the bearings aren't tight enough in there. Here we go. That's what we're after. Seat itself. It's got this nice plush leather. They're not too big yet. They are the Seamanship brand. These are the ones you see a lot on eBay. You do see them on other shops around. Butt-wise, that's actually not too soft, but it's not too firm. It's nice and wide, so if you've got a big ass, you can fit into it. And the back isn't too short. And the hinges, they're made out of steel. It feels good, the stitching looks nice and sturdy. That's gonna be really, really awesome. Now I've got 2 of them. And to go off the seats, one more thing, well actually 2. It's one of 2 boxes. So you probably noticed in my boat, it doesn't have a back seat that has been ripped out. It has a front seat. And I don't intend on putting the swivel straight onto the front seat because that's going to take up my casting deck area. What I did though is I measured the size of how high I wanted the seats, which is, this is a perfect height for when you're just in the back. It's the same height as your standard seat. And it has a removable post. So it's a short post, it's not too tall, so it's not going to get too wobbly. And it has a removable bottom. So that is it. That's everything new that I've purchased for the boat build and the fit out. So things that I'm going to reuse again is I'm going to keep using my Lowrance 7-inch hook reveal fish finder that I have, but I will be putting the triple shot transducer on the back of the boat. It was on the kayak to start with, but I'm going to put the smaller transducer onto the kayak and the triple shot onto the boat. Obviously the motor on the boat is staying boat. I'm going to use the same electrical panel that I had, for the USB charging, the switches on and off. It was actually working quite well. A lot of the electrical wires will be used as well because they were in really good condition. Pickles.